Hello and welcome to What's That Behind You. In today's video, we will be looking into the strange case of the Battersea Poltergeist. The Battersea Poltergeist is a well-known case of alleged paranormal activity that occurred in a house in South London, in England, in 1950. The case involved a series of unexplained phenomena, including objects moving, strange noises, and even physical attacks that were said to be caused by a poltergeist. It is the ghost story that even had skeptics asking questions. In 1956, in a semi-detached home in Battersea, South London, the Hitching family began hearing strange, unexplained bangs and scratching noises. Some of the noises were so loud they could be heard by the whole street. Then, objects began moving without being touched. Pots and pans were thrown out of seemingly empty rooms. Bed sheets flew off beds without warnings, and slippers were seen walking across the floor. As time wore on, the hauntings spanned a period of 12 years. The residents at 63 Wycliffe Road named the presence Donald. The case became front-page news, with much of the attention focused on Shirley, the teenage daughter of Wally and Kitty Hitchings, who found herself at the centre of the seemingly paranormal activity. It was even discussed in the Houses of Commons. Scrawled writings appeared on the walls, fires were started out of thin air, and a handwritten note was found inside a notebook. It read, "Shirley, I come." It all began one night in early 1956, when a loud bang ricocheted through the Hitchings house. Living at the property, along with Wally, Kitty and their teenage daughter, was Wally's mother, Ethel, and a male family member who is referred to simply as Mark in Shirley's memoirs. The noises that rang through the Hitchings house were so loud that the neighbours came to complain, thinking that the Hitchings were responsible. It became a nightly occurrence, and soon scratching and tapping sounds could be heard, apparently following Shirley around the house. Next came the objects. We're talking about a clock floating through the air. We're talking about pots and pans being thrown from every room that nobody was in, said a series expert Evelyn Hollow in an interview with the BBC. Rooms are trashed. The house must have looked like a bloody war zone. It's truly a wild case, she said. Mr. Hitchings hired an exorcist, and the media swarmed around the story. Shirley was interviewed on TV, and some outlets even claimed Donald was her ghostly boyfriend. People thought Shirley was behind the unexplained happenings, but she insists she had nothing to do with them. "Everybody was pointing the finger at me," she said in interviews with The Sun. "I knew I was not doing this. I'd always been brought up to be honest and never lie. Dad asked me at one point if it was me, and I told him no. He said, 'That's good enough for me.'" Shirley, who still remembers the events clearly, told how her grandmother Ethel thought she was possessed and threw holy water over her in a bid to exorcise the spirit. Ethel was convinced Donald was the evil spirit, and through the use of a cross and holy water, it all came to no avail. It just didn't work. She recalled Donald went berserk. The crucifix went flying across the room, and her curtains were left in shreds, as if someone had taken a knife to them. Throughout the years, and because of the media attention, Shirley was unable to get a job, and she says she lost all of her friends because of Donald. However, the family got used to Donald as the years went on, and he was even accepted as one of the family. In 1965, she and her husband Derek moved to Bognor Regis, where they had a son, David, who is now in his 50s, and also a daughter, Karen, who is not far behind him. But Donald followed them. Shirley told a paper he'd leave messages telling me what my parents were doing, and tell them what Derek and I was doing in great detail. He would snitch on us all. Then suddenly, 3 years later, Donald fell silent. He left his final message with her parents, saying he would leave the family in peace, and goodbye. While doing research for this story, I couldn't find anything tying Donald to this living world. All I could find was the Hitching family story. But this story has baffled and confused even some of the most toughened of skeptics. But what do you think of it all? Let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to hear from you. I would also like to take this opportunity to say thank you to all the new people joining us on this journey through the macabre. If you have enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, and also consider subscribing. But whatever you do, wherever you go, you don't have to be afraid of what's behind you.